This is part 3 of a 12-part series about rebuilding your local community. If you missed parts 1 or 2, or both, go to the Rebuilding Community playlist on my page. These videos are meant to be watched in order because each one gives you something practical to do where you live, and the idea is that you actually do these things as we go. So today, we're starting small, and we're starting together. I think people sometimes hear rebuilding community and immediately imagine that they need some kind of a blueprint. Maybe an organization or a mission statement or a committee or a big plan with phases and goals and all of that. You probably don't need any of it, at least yet. You need a few people, like 4 to 8 people who can fit around a table in somebody's living room, or on a back porch, or in a loose circle of folding chairs in the yard. It doesn't matter. And you need to be able to meet for about an hour, maybe once a week, at the same time, in the same place. And you can agree to try it out for a month if you want. That is plenty to just begin. I would suggest starting with people who already live near you. A neighbor, a parent you sometimes talk to at school pickup, a coworker you trust, somebody you keep having good conversations with when you run into them outside, wherever. The person you might love who lives 3 hours away may be extraordinarily wonderful. They may be exactly the kind of person you wish you could build this with. They still need to build it where they live, and you need to build it where you live. Local means close enough to show up without turning the whole thing into an expedition of some sort. Now, the meeting itself can be simple. You do not even need to call it a meeting, by the way. That's probably too formal. But you could just start with a simple check-in. Like, give each person a couple minutes to say what kind of week they've had. And without people interrupting, and without anybody trying to fix things immediately or handing out some advice, each person just gets to speak. And if somebody wants to pass, like, I don't want to speak, let them pass. And then ask one question for the group. What's one thing you might need this week? What's something that you've been carrying to lately that maybe feels like too much? What's maybe one small win that you had? Just choose one of these sort of simple questions and go around the circle and let people answer without trying to turn it into a full-fledged discussion of some sort. Certainly you don't probably need to turn it into a debate either, or even a group project to try to solve. And then close this whole endeavor by asking everyone one final question. What's one thing you're going to do before we meet again? That's the entire structure. A check-in, one question, and one small commitment for the week ahead. It helps if one person can keep an eye on time, because some people may need a little encouragement to speak, and other people, as we know, will be happy to use every available minute if nobody stops them. You can move things along graciously, of course, so that everyone gets the time allotted to them, if you will. Allotted's a weird word, but available to them. You're not trying to produce some profound emotional breakthrough during any of these meetings, but the important thing is that you come back. Trust grows because people keep returning. The group has to stay small and manageable enough that returning remains realistic. Now, asking people to do this might feel horribly awkward at best. And I think that's likely unavoidable. Most of us are badly out of practice. People want stronger relationships. They want more connection and more of a sense that they actually belong somewhere, but they don't know how to begin. And they're afraid of the invitation itself and how strange it will seem. But somebody has to be willing to seem a little strange first. A person very well might say no and still be touched that you thought of them. Somebody might come once or twice and then disappear. And even that can be its own sort of important. You've reminded them in some way that another person nearby wanted them included, and that life doesn't have to be lived entirely alone or entirely online. Now, this group won't solve everything. And people will likely at some point disagree, they'll cancel, somebody will forget. The first version might fall apart entirely, and that is completely okay. If somebody misses a week, invite them back. If the group doesn't work, try it again. If only 3 people come, meet with 3 people. 3 people sitting together consistently is more real than 12 people who keep saying that they should get together sometime. The circle doesn't need to be impressive by any standard you're holding it to. It just needs to be a thing in real life. Because a lot of that life now feels distant and impersonal. We're treated as customers, voters, users, audiences, employees, data points. And sometimes all of those things occur before we even have lunch. But a small gathering gives people a place to listen and be listened to, and to know somebody beyond what they produce or provide or post cares enough to simply lend an ear and experience it in some way with them. It gives you a place to show up as a person and be received that way too. That is where belonging begins. So, for anyone who's still willing and watching, this is probably terrifying for many people watching this video, but here's what I would ask you to try to do this week. Actually try. Think of 3 people who live within about 15 minutes of you. Reach out and ask whether they'd be willing to meet. I say once a week for 1 month. It could be once a month for 3 months. It could be twice a month for 2 months. Something like that. Okay? Pick a time. Pick a place. Keep the meeting short. Start with a check-in, ask 1 question, and close with 1 commitment for the coming week. You in no way have to make any of this perfect, but make the invitation and see who shows up. In the next part 4, we'll talk about what happens when a small circle begins to develop its own culture, and how that culture can slowly start to affect the wider community around it. Hopefully, if there's anyone still hanging on in this video, you see how this all starts to kind of take shape. Good luck. Report in if you're able and willing in the comments. I'm sure some folks would appreciate commiserating or hearing what worked or didn't work for others. I'll see you soon.